All right, so hello everyone. I hope you're having a great day. And today we are going to chat a little bit more about the plant biology concentration in the biological sciences major. And we have two great individuals here to share a little bit about their experience in the concentration. And I'm gonna ask them to introduce themselves. So Diego, I'm gonna turn it over to you if you don't mind going first.
Yeah, thank you so much, Megan. So, hi, everybody. My name is Diego. I'm a junior biology major, and I'm concentrating in plant biology. Specifically, I chose the plant biotechnology track, but we have two plant biotechnology, and then as well, we have plant evolutionary biology. And now I'll throw it to Dr. Gandolfo.
Hi, I'm Maria Alejandra Gandolfo, and I'm in the plant biology section in the School of Integrative Plant Sciences. And I'm the director of undergraduate studies for the plant biology concentration.
Great, thanks so much for the intros. So we're gonna jump into the questions, and Dr. Gandolfo, I'm gonna start with you if that's okay. So I was hoping that you could give us a little bit more information about the concentration. So it's just a general overview and potentially some resources within the concentration that students could go to if they have more questions if they're interested.
Absolutely. So all the students can always contact me at mag4@cornell.edu, and although I do not answer emails really fast, I always answer the emails. And this is important because as a director of undergraduate studies, I feel like I should be participating in answering all the questions that you have about the concentration. So our concentration, as it's called, is plant biology, implies everything that has to do with plants. And that goes from plant evolution all the way to agriculture. So the spectrum is very, very broad. You can focus on two different paths for calling this some way. So one path is plant biotechnology, that is Diego's concentration, for which we have approximately several courses that are required. There are 3 courses that are required, and then there are 7 credits that you need to take to complete this concentration. The other concentration is evolutionary plant science, and for that is basically introductory botany and plant physiology, and some extra credits as well. One of the neat things about the plant biology concentration is the fact that you can take courses for many other sections of SIPS, the School of Integrative Plant Science, but also from other departments within the university. For example, you can take soils and crops classes, you can take classes in evolutionary biology, and other thing that I think is really important for the students, for you students to understand, is that with this concentration, you are really broaden your aspects and things about biology in general. There are sometimes topics that other courses don't touch, and plant biology addresses all those. For example, cell biology or biotechnology. So it's not just concentrated in plant biology, but is applying all those concepts into the plants. Is that sufficient, or?
That's great. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And I was wondering if you wouldn't mind just touching briefly on the research opportunities.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's one of the things that make Cornell a fantastic place to be an undergraduate student. Not only we have a research bank of information where you can look for whatever type of research you are interested as well, but the majority of the faculty is interested in having you participating in the research projects. So for example, and I will mention these 2 of my last undergraduate students. One did a project on evolutionary biology from the point of view on deep time in the fossil record, and the other did research on tracking the evolution of trichomes in the oaks. But there's many other aspects of research. If you are interested in cell biology, there are projects in cell biology. There are projects in horticulture. If you are interested in producing plants for feeding the world, there are projects to address the CO2 concentration in the environment and how plants modify that. So the only thing that you need to do, just let us know that you're interested in doing research, and we will find the project that you will be interested in participating in.
That's great, thanks. And Diego, are you doing research on campus, or do you have experience in research? And if so, would you mind chatting a little bit about it?
Yeah, of course. I think one of the beautiful things about the plant bio concentration is as long as you have some sort of passion, we will show you where to go and guide you in that direction. I kind of came in as a transfer, just kind of looking, I think plants are cool and whatnot. And now I'm doing research in the Frank Lab over at SIPS, and we're doing plant molecular biology research. And I just joined in a part of a genotyping project. And it's stuff like that that I had not pictured myself doing. But once I began taking courses in the concentration, I slowly started learning more. And I think the way it's structured helps to guide students and help them focus on and hone in on the things that they want to do. And then eventually find a lab to do some research. And I think the concentration itself gives a sort of emphasis on doing research. And the resources involved help you get there.
Great, thank you.
And something that is important to mention is the flexibility that this concentration offers. So it's so flexible that you can not only do the research in many different aspects, but you can go from one lab to another and complete a small projects in a semester or in a whole year. And that is also due to the flexibility of the number of courses that you can take. There are several courses that I think I counted last time, like something like 25 different courses that the students can take. And some of them even provide field work. And that is really important if you are interested later on into going, for example, into academia, where field work is something that is really important in plant sciences. So the good point about this is you shouldn't be shy. You should try and contact people, because that's the way of moving through the concentration as well.
Which is a really nice segue for our next question that has to do with the curriculum of the plant biology concentration. So I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to that. I mean, I know that you mentioned that there are a number of courses that students could take, but could you highlight a few? And then Diego, after that, if you wouldn't mind, perhaps highlighting one or two of your favorite courses that you took within the concentration.
Absolutely. So if you are really, if students are really interested in plants, you can, whether you are interested in plant diversity, medicinal plants, molecular biology, plant biotechnology, we have all the courses that will address your interest. So, for example, if you were interested in health and medicinal plants, with the goal of later on going to medical school, we have courses such as medical ethnobotany, issues in social biology that goes from diets to diseases, natural remedies at end of health, plant biotechnology, plants and people. Those are just courses that address some aspects of health and medicinal plants. If you are really interested in a different path going into really hardcore biotechnology and molecular biology, we offer courses such as molecular biology and genetic engineering of plants, laboratories that are associated to that, and there's a course on cell plant biology, because plant cells are different from animal cells. If you are interested in plant diversity and evolution, which is what I'm more through to, because that's the area of my research. There are courses on global plant biodiversity and different type of vegetation that is associated with a field trip that takes the students to Patagonia. There are courses for Greenware and Blue Planet that address the different type of environments in where you will find plants. Of course, introductory plant biodiversity and evolution, if you are interested in knowing from the first vascular plant that appeared 500 million years ago all the way to now, is when you need to take this kind of courses. Evolutionary plant biology and plant vascular systematics, or basic plant anatomy. And all those courses have a faculty that will be more than happy to talk with you about the research projects that each one of those faculty are carrying out.
Great, thanks. Diego.
Yeah, I think Dr. Gandolfo gave a great spread there. I think there's a lot of courses and a lot of interesting courses that students can take. Specifically, I took a course, PLBGR 4030 plant breeding course with Professor Michael Gore. And that class was great. It was a plant breeding class and genetic methods. So we looked at different methods involved with plant breeding. And a pretty cool thing about that class is we went and we took some field trips, and we often get a lot of different apple breeds and grape breed, and we do a whole bunch of tasting in class. And Gore jokes a little bit that the class is like half of a lecture and then half like a culinary class of some sort, because we get to taste so many different fruit varieties. And then another great class, and I thought this one was pretty interesting, was Plant Bio 3431, which is the laboratory that Dr. Gandolfo was mentioning. And I think that one's really special because there's a lot of things that you might begin reading early on, maybe freshman, sophomore year, interested in plants and whatnot. And then you go to take this class and it's like all the things that you're reading, all these laboratory techniques, you begin to do it. So in this class, for example, we did a method for genetic engineering with agrobacterium, which is used widely. And if you go through this concentration, it might be something you do on a daily basis in the real world. So I thought the application of that class was pretty special.
And I will jump up just a second. Something that is important also is that you are building with each one of these courses that you are taking, you are building more and more into why plants are so important. So of course, as a biology student, you have requirement courses. So these are the required courses for completing the concentration. So we have a couple of those that are required for the concentration that you, or the path within the concentration you will take. And then there are credits that you need to take. And those are the ones where you can explore more about your own interest.
Wonderful, thank you. So I'd like to switch gears and chat a little bit about the opportunities that students become involved in the summer. So whether it be internships or other summer opportunities. So if you could provide some examples of some experiences that students have. And then to piggyback on that, what are some postgraduate plans that you see a lot of your students also becoming involved in as well?
A lot of labs do research during the summer. So a lot of undergraduate students have the opportunity to stay in campus and do research during the summer. Some are supported by research experience for undergraduate students. I have to think about that one, is the RIUs, and those support the whole summer to do a project, a completed project. The neat thing about doing projects during the summer that sometimes can be translated into honor thesis, because it gives you more opportunity to work continuously during the whole semester and then continue in the summer and then finishing with something that can finish into a presentation in a symposium or in a meeting, in a scientific meeting, and even finish as a publication, which is the end goal for people that do research mostly. So sometimes they are supported, the faculty has some money for that. There are a lot of grants that the students can apply with the support of the faculty that Cornell is offered. And there's a whole list that we can you can download, or the student can download directly from the Cornell webpage. And something that is interesting, at least for me, is when students start to do research, they really become more familiar with the aspects not only of research, but also scholarship. And that it takes you to what you will do after you finish your undergraduate degree. Some students take the path of going to graduate school. And those are the ones that maybe they are interested in pursuing a master's degree or a PhD degree. Some students are more interested to go into medical school, for example. So it just depends on what is your path and what do you want to do at the end of your schooling years, where you want to be. So for graduate school, there are many, many different possibilities depending on what is your end goal. And the way I approach this to my undergraduate students and then to my graduate students is where you want to be in 4 years, where you want to be in 5 years, where you want to be in 10 years. And that it takes you to delineate a path into where do you want to go with your concentration? Because if you are interested in going to medical school, we will reinforce certain courses that you need to take for being able to get into school, but also to complete your desire of become more familiar with plant biology. So depending on what do you want to be in 5 years, we will guide you towards the different paths that you can take. With a degree in biology, with a concentration in plant biology, there are many opportunities to work in many different places. You can work in greenhouses, growing plants. You can work in horticulture aspects. You can do plant breeding. You can do medical school if you are interested in doing non-traditional Occidental medicine. You can go into research, into academia and do research, for example, in evolution. So you can work in a non-governmental organization. You can work in national parks. So there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of different paths that you can take after you graduate from Cornell with a concentration on plant sciences, or plant biology.
Great, thank you. All right, Diego, last questions for you. I was wondering if you could share a little bit about why you chose the concentration that you did and sort of what factors students should consider when they're determining which concentration to declare.
Yeah, of course. And I think those are the key questions here. I mean, we're all going to have to make this decision at one point. And for me, it came down to what do I see myself having interest in based on the classes that I have taken already here at Cornell, and then classes that I may want to take in the future. And for me specifically, certain classes that I took that were in the biology department requirements, they kind of shedded some light as to the direction I wanted to go. Then it was just a matter of looking at all the concentrations. And I think one thing that students can do, which really helped me out, was I emailed some professors class-wise, and I said, hey, I'm a student interested in X, Y, and Z, you know, what pathway do you see me going in and whatnot? And they provided some great insight. I actually went and talked with Dr. Gandolfo before I ended up choosing this concentration. So reaching out to professors and somebody like Dr. Gandolfo is always a great step. And then specifically for the plant bio concentration, this is, I think, is for students who are looking and have a general interest in plants and plant systematics and get excited to hear about how are we going to feed, you know, our growing population? How are we going to sustainably live on this earth? Kids who want to answer questions like that and have that sort of passion, you know, for solving today's problems, I think this is a perfect concentration for them. And I kind of took that all into account when I went to make that selection.
Great, thank you. And I know Dr. Gandolfo shared her email at the beginning. So Diego, I know you're a student advisor and would probably welcome students reaching out to you. So if you wouldn't mind sharing your email, that would be great too.
Yeah, of course. My net ID is DZH7. And then I actually reached out to another student advisor who's in the plant biology concentration, and she helped me out too in making that selection. So yeah, we're here to help you as well.
Great, thank you. Well, I appreciate both of your time so much. And for anybody who's interested in this concentration, I encourage you to reach out to these folks. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you so much for having us.